All right, so it's the What Happened to Music podcast. We're going to be talking about job interview strategies, specifically because I guess it's what we're more familiar with, music education. So if you want to be a teacher and you want to get those jobs,
A teacher of music,
a
even.
teacher of music, yeah.
All right, so I made a list of a couple of things. I went on about 30 interviews before landing the job I have now.
So you have lots of experience with failing. So this man knows
Well,
what's
failure is the number one way to learn. So there you go. First off, if you're a gentleman and you don't own a suit, you should go buy
you
a
got
suit.
it. Yeah, you got to buy yourself a suit.
My first interview I went on, I made the mistake of not doing that. Afterwards, I went to Kohl's and found in the discount rack a matching jacket and pair of pants.
Do you do the tie thing?
What do you mean the tie thing?
Jacket and tie, right?
Yeah, jacket, tie. You're not wearing a tuxedo, but at the very least, you need to dress professionally. And if you're a lady, I'm sure you could figure out what that means. I'm not qualified to tell you that.
I actually did not wear a tie for and we probably should explain how typically the structures work.
Yeah.
Where obviously you have to get the interview, and there can be multiple rounds, and normally there are multiple rounds. And often they're going to want to see a demo lesson.
Okay.
So
well, that would be like round 2 or round...
For my demo lesson, I ended up not wearing a tie because whenever I'm singing, I just,
Yeah.
Whereas
at my current school, you have to wear a tie if you're a gentleman.
Oh.
So
You have to figure out, and again, we'll talk about that, figuring out the culture of the school.
yeah. But at the point of a demo lesson, you kind of have an idea of that already after
absolutely.
going in. But when you go in, it's better to overdress than underdress.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Because you can always take the jacket off.
Interestingly enough, before we continue, I have never done a demo lesson in all the interviews I've done. All of the jobs I've gone in for an interview, that was it. It was just an interview, and then
I find it really strange when they don't want a demo lesson,
I think that's strange too, but
especially for elementary general, because
Yeah.
some people can't sing or hold tune with singing. So immediately, and that to me, that just disqualifies you from teaching elementary general because
that's why there's a lot of bad elementary general music teachers.
that's true.
My next one was don't be too early because it makes people mad.
That does happen.
Just to clarify, I like being on time. I would even prefer being early. I found out since that's not the way the world works generally. Case in point, a lot of my interviews, if I was any earlier than 15 to 20 minutes, like if I was a half an hour early, which you're like, okay, you get in, you figure out where you're going to go, you sit a little bit, look over your notes. The people who are at the desk will often be very annoyed that you're there, and they don't say rude things, but there's just that sudden feeling like, oh, you're already here. You're early.
I'm debating on whether I should explain the story of the time I brought, because I always bring my guitar with me on an interview. Because hey, it's you need to be memorable,
Right?
You need something that says, oh, well, we've interviewed 12 or 20 or 30 people. Usually they don't interview that many, but I want to say one of the jobs I went for, that was the original like pre-interview screening pool. I guess I'll say the story. So I brought a guitar.
Okay.
And apparently the secretary was very concerned that there would be some sort of firearm inside it as I'm dressed up in my suit. And I was just
She's seen the movies.
I was like, well, it's a guitar. I don't know if you know this, but you have...
Nah, this job is mine, see?
I'm like, it's a music interview, guitar. You invited me here. Okay, we're good. She was... I mean, I've never had someone... I mean, I think she really thought that it was so...
Well, I'm sure you stood out in that case. But
yeah, so
but
I
in a
stood
general case, I think another good tip, you should do something to try to be memorable.
Yeah, any job I've ever gotten, they've asked me to play my guitar.
And actually, my last couple of jobs, I actually brought my saxophone with me, even though a little bit less obvious than a guitar for an elementary job. But
It's interesting. Any job where, and I should probably explain this to people out there, at least half of the job interviews that you go on are rigged. It's a big dog and pony show. They basically know.
it's true.
And I'm not saying this is not every district. I mean, my district that I'm currently in, I have no connection to the district at all. I felt I had the best interview. I felt it was the best fit for the school. And I ended up getting the job. But I've walked into interviews where you go, you have no interest in what I'm saying, and either I'm so repulsive to you, which is possible, or this is just a waste of your time and you're just going through the motions because,
Oh, it was like the one school from Maryland that called me and asked me to come in less than an hour. And if they look at my resume where I lived, it would take me about an hour and a half if I left at that moment to get there.
Yeah, I mean, what was the one school I ended up applying to and going in for the interview, and then it was like, oh, went to a band parent
Yeah.
who just like recently got her teaching license.
Yeah, that something's funny up, but yeah, understand that you may be walking into a situation where you're not going to get the job,
I
and
mean-
don't let that upset you.
Well, that's the one thing. I mean, just in terms of not being nervous, just realize there's a good chance you're going to go into the interview, and it's not you. It has nothing to do with you or the way you're presenting
It's not
yourself.
that you're not qualified. It's not that you're not a good teacher. It's that it's just not going to be yours.
Good piece of advice going back to the don't be too early. My dad always suggested, if it's obviously a job that you want, you go the day before. Make sure that you find where the building is. So this way there's no questions, especially if you're trying to get there on time. And then what you do is you find like a Dunkin' Donuts or somewhere where you can wait. So you get to there early. You just kind of relax, at the Dunkin' Donuts, and then go to the interview. So you're like 5 minutes away.
Okay.
So I think that actually really helps with not being early. Because if you think about it, if you hit traffic, if you're going for a job where it's an hour away, all of a sudden you run into a situation of, oh, there's traffic, and now you're late, and that's
Yeah.
yeah. I feel being late on a job interview is pretty much the kiss of death.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
I can't get to places
There's a
on
very
time.
narrow window of this is your prime getting there time.
Yeah.
And